That was Jasmine Sullivan. Pick up your feelings. So in case I have not been clear enough about this, I will do so today so that it is unequivocal. I think that the calls for the defunding of policemen by people in lawmaking, that the calls for the murder of people in law enforcement by people on the right who feel that Donald Trump was unjustly served a warrant, which the more we find out, the more that we're finding out that they were more than within their rights. I think that those things are reprehensible. I think that we don't get to equivocate. I think that it is wrong when anybody calls for the murder of law enforcement. I think that it is wrong when somebody calls for the defunding of law enforcement. I think that that's whether you're a civil rights activist or whether you are an elected official. I think it's more dangerous when an elected official does it because they have the capacity to make those things happen. If you're a member of Congress and you want to defund the police, you could do it with enough people who have the same mindset as you do. So I unequivocally say that these things are wrong. Much like I say that the wanton violence I've seen in the last few weeks, and it perpetuates itself all over the country, actually, in the last few weeks at the hand of law enforcement is equally as reprehensible. When you have a young man who's attacked by a dog while everybody else sits around and the dog is tearing him apart, and then another police officer is telling him to be still. I don't know how still you can be when a dog is tearing your Achilles tendon out. It seemed inhuman, and it made me wonder who we have on our streets. In Arkansas, 3 police officers who obviously thought that they were doing something that no one would find out about it. You could tell by their shocked look when they saw that somebody was indeed taping them, were beating a man senseless. It was so bad that the federal government right away started to open an investigation. I think it's reprehensible to find out that LA County Sheriff is involved in 30 acts of molestation against a minor. I think that it's terrible when you have a Mississippi police chief admit to shooting a black man 100 times and murdering people. I think it's reprehensible when a whole police department in North Carolina quits because they get a black city manager. I think that it is reprehensible for the cause for people to kind of say we're going to defund the police and we're going to put targets on the back. That's wrong. And it's equally as wrong when the police officers who are entrusted with the public trust brutalize people. And I wish the people who are angry that someone had that an private citizen, Donald Trump, got his house. If you took anything from work on your last day, guess what? The police or some law enforcement is coming. So it should be no different. Whether if you work at the Apple Store and grabbed a couple of iPads on your way out, guess what happens? Somebody's coming to see you. So if you could be worked up about that and call for the death and the defunding of police officers, but see the wanton violence that is meted out against police officers, against the people they're supposed to serve, then you're a hypocrite. I think it's wrong to threaten police officers, but I also think it's wrong to have police officers that we know are doing harm to us, that are meting out violence, that are brutalizing people in full view. And what happens to them immediately is that they get a paid leave off. So you can do these heinous things and still go home and enjoy your money at taxpayers' expense. It is horrible that we have these kinds of people on our streets and that we allow these things to happen. I think it's wrong, and I can hold these thoughts, both these thoughts in my head at the same time. It's wrong to call for the funding of the police. It is wrong to put targets on the back. It is also wrong that we allow so many people in our police departments to met out this level of violence. It's wrong. And they do it all the time, and they do it almost with impunity. Do you know how bad you got to be when the feds start investigating a case before the local municipality does? Because they knew how it would go in Arkansas? Look how many times policemen have done something. A grand jury looks the other way, or a prosecutor looks the other way, only to be indicted by the feds later. And now what's happening is, it used to be a time when that was an aberration when you would see police officers indicted. But now it's not. Juries are used to sending police officers to jail. What does it say about a society that holds a policeman in such high esteem, and they should be, but allows such one destruction to go on in our streets? Why is accountability a bad word when you say that the people in authority should have it? And I've asked this over and over again. I've said this over and over again. I think it's wrong for the calls for policemen to be defunded. I think it's law enforcement to be funded. I think it's wrong for policemen to have targets on their back. But I think it's wrong that we allow the wanton violence that they met out to the public they're supposed to serve on our streets too. And it always begs the question, who the hell do we got patrolling our streets? Who do we have that are supposed to keep us safe? Who do we have that's supposed to be the shepherds of our communities? And you could tell me every argument, of course, there are way more bad police officers than there are good ones. The problem is there are way too many bad ones. That's a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.